क्या आप IAS की तैयारी कर रहे हैं और कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स को 2.5 लाख तक की फीस नहीं पे करना चाहते? अगर हाँ, तो 22,500 रुपए में घर बैठ के StudyIQ के पेनड्राइव कोर्स के साथ आप IAS की तैयारी कर सकते हैं। आज ही विजिट करें StudyIQ.com।
Hi. So far I have covered in my previous topic about the data science, artificial intelligence, analytics, big data and all. Today I tried to cover something which is not specific to the technology implementation, but yes, it is more or less the role or a industry which required a people into that particular role. Though the topic is again very close to the data science, but this is more about the roles and responsibilities people are playing and what type of a studies or what type of a skills person should have to implement that role, which we have covered in previous slides as well. So the topic is data engineer, data analyst and data scientist. So today we will talk about what is data engineer in the company, what is data analytics in the company, and what is data scientist, and what type of a knowledge or education or skills they required. Though this particular side is not very important to understand this role, but it is somewhat need to set a background in the context. So when we go to the different roles, we need to understand, okay, what type of activities they are playing and what is the actual activities is there into the data science thing. So if you see this particular graph, which is given the maturity model of the data science, saying that we have actually started from the descriptive analytics, which says that yes, we have a data and we have captured the data and why this particular thing has been happened. So what happened in the past, and that we can read it by the data which we have stored in our database. And the second is diagnostic analytics. So it says, okay, what happened is what, but why did it happen? Maybe let's say take an example, there is a market crash. Market is crashed because the political reasons, because any external reasons, because of the flood, because of the good movement into the market, because of the bad movement into the market. So it is actually telling us that why did it happen, why market go from up to down, because these are the factors which impacted the market to get down. And third is predictive analytics. Predictive analytics means, okay, whatever happened is happened, but with this particular data and whatever the inputs we have, what we can predict, okay, next year what will be happen, in the next 2 months what will be happen, whether after this election the rate would be high or it would be down. If somebody is making that particular party is making a good progress, is in a market up or a down? I mean, I'm not just taking a political example. Let's say rainy season. So if the rainy season is good, whether the agriculture cost would be less or a low. If the productivity of the agriculture is high, whether it will be taking a market on the upper side or a lower side. Whether the export and import is up, then the agriculture's products price is going up or are going down. So these are the predictive analysis we can do into the data science. And then final maturity model is prescriptive analysis. So we know that yes, that would be happen if we are not doing any action. But can we do some action so that particular factor or a goal which we have think of for our organizations can be achieved? So that particular input is coming as a prescriptive analytics. Yes, so we have more or less 3 different roles into the data science. That is what I can categorize it. They can be a more plus and minus. So first is the data engineers. So if you go in any organizations which is running the data sciences thing, so there are one person who can, not one person, one role which is the data engineers. So data engineers is also known as the database administrators and the data architect. What it means? So more or less infrastructures, more or less whatever the softwares, more or less whatever the machines, monitoring, data, ETL operations. When I say ETL, extract the data, transform the data and load the data. So these particular activity is taken care by the data engineer. Next role is data analytics. So name itself is saying that this particular person is more about analytics the things, or maybe making some sort of a formula to say, okay, this is my previous data, what happened in past, what will be happen in future. Let's see what we talked about into the previous slide. So it is actually doing some sort of a mathematical or a statistical analysis on the data, what data we have. So this is the role of the data analytics. So it's saying also known as a business analyst, because it is more focused to or aligned to the business goals. This is the business is doing, this was business has done, and this will business will do is the role of more about data analytics. And the third role is the data scientist. So this is also known about the data managers or statisticians. So this is a one level above the data analytics. Data analytics is generally giving analytics on the previous data and whatever has been happened. But when we have to go about what additional things which we need to see, can there be a additional external factor which we do not have considered, and if we have considered it, what would be the result, how it is going to be changed. Some sort of a machine learning and artificial intelligence is also a part of more or less data scientists, because what algorithms need to be implemented in the data needs to be taken care by the data science, or what category in which our businesses fall from the data perspective, data scientist needs to be taken. If this particular data is in this form, this is the best way to go forward, or this is the best way to coming up with the business stakeholders decisions, is more about our data scientist role. So basically we have three: data engineers, data analytics, and data scientists. Data engineers are more about, as we call about, software, hardware, applications, data extract. Data analytics is that whatever the data is, how we can do a more good analysis on that, giving a good results, whatever has been happened into the system so far and what can be the happen. And data scientist is more about focusing to the going trend, where we need to take it to the business. What is the additional factors which can come up? If they come up, what would be the impact? If we do some changes, how it can be changed the impact? What is the best algorithm or statistical logic we need to be implement? What type of a data we have? What is the category of data in which we fall is the role of the data scientist. So now this particular thing is saying that what is the basic quality of the data engineers and what is the skills they required in. So if I read it for you, so there are generalizations computer science to help the large data sets. They typically focus on coding, cleaning up the data sets, and implementing the requests coming from the data scientist. So whatever the data scientist is saying, okay, data is in this format, engineers is making the ETL according to that. Or if they're saying that I would be using this particular algorithm, engineers are coming up that which language or which coding I need to do to implement the idea which has been given by the data scientist. So skill is programming, mathematician, and the big data. So he would be good in mathematics. He would have an idea about the big data software like in Hadoop's ecosystems and all. And he would be a good programmer as well to implement that whatever the inputs or a logics or a brain points coming from the data scientist. So they know Hadoop, they know NoSQL, Pythons, if they are more into the open source world, but there are other ecosystems from the Microsoft Soft or AWS or the Azure sites as well. Now coming to the data analyst. So they are typically help people from across the company understand specific queries with charts. So they are the people who are bridge between the business and the technologies. So they read out the requirement, they make the chart according to them. When I say the chart, the data what the business stakeholder is needed to take the decisions, they are coming up with data. Think of the query, that what query I need to be give onto the big data or a data. So they can be giving us those particular responses into the report form or a chart form is the data analyst. So their skills are statistics, communications, and the business knowledge. So they should know domain knowledge, they have a good communicator, then only he can go and talk to the business people. And because they know the domain knowledge as well, they can talk into the business domain terms. And that is how it has been beneficial. So some of the programming such as Excel, Tableau, SQL is good for them. So if they know, Excel is really, really important. SQL is also important because they have to be going to the queries. Tableaus or the other dashboard because they have to be make a chart or a dashboard so the business people can see and finally visualize it at how it is coming up. Data scientist. So data scientist will be able to take a data science project from end to end. So this is the actually a program manager sort of a person. They can help store images amount of data, create predictive modeling, process and present the findings. So that is what the first slide was important. What is the predictive, what is prescriptives, because end to end if we have to go, that is a data scientist, a person who drive all the chain. So they come up with the idea and the plan, and then the data engineers and data analysts help them to achieve in all the phases. What type of a skills data scientist is required is mathematical, programming and communication. And what type of a programs they would be needing is SQL, Python or R. So if the person who is not aware that what is R or a Python, it's more about mathematicals library which gives the statisticals, formulas and algorithm to run the queries and get the data. So this is how data scientists, data engineers and data analytics is basically a 3 different roles into the data sciences nowadays. And it is important to understand when one need to go to the data science field, that in which area he wants to be pursue. And it is nothing that first we have to go for a data engineers, then we need to go for a data scientist and then the data analyst. It can be anything. You can directly jump to the data scientist. You may not need an exposure of all these tools and technologies, but yes, awareness of that particular point is important. But the data scientist role is more about planning, giving a thoughts and coming with the insights. And data analytics is more good into the communication and domain, so they can give the charts and the Excel sheets and data for that. And data engineers are more about making the things happen, whatever the data scientists and data analysts are thinking of. I hope I am able to give you the clear pictures of these three different roles which can help you out whenever you go for any data sciences training or whenever you go to any university where producing the all data sciences course and where you want to pursue your career going forward. Thank you.